Hello, everyone, and welcome to the November edition of the Osna CPP meetup. I'm Hendrik. I will be moderating today, and today we have a special guest, Lukas, who will tell us all about Qt, and I will bring him now on stage for his introduction. Hi, Lukas.
Hi, folks. So, yeah, thank you, Hendrik, for making this happen. I cannot wait to start.
Yeah, so I've heard from you that you have your own, or that you're the CEO of Size Studios and that you're a Qt expert. And I guess hopefully we'll learn a lot about Qt today from you. Um, yeah, we agreed upon before that you can write questions in the chat, people, if you want to, but we will answer them in the end. So in the end, I will come back on stage and I will read the question to Lukas. And then after that, if there are no questions from the chat anymore, we will go onto the usual Jitsi server and I will post the URL to the Jitsi server also again in the end so that nobody misses the opportunity to go there. And now I will hand over to Lukas and I will remove myself from stage. And yeah, then please enjoy the talk, everybody, and have fun.
Yeah, thank you, Hendrik. And guys, herzlich willkommen, meine Damen und Herren. I can actually say something in German, but I think that it's not enough for this talk. It would be enough to order a kebab or something, but today's topic would be an introduction to QML for modern UI development, just like announced on meetup.com. I have to admit that that's the first time I'm presenting online, but let's see how well. You can let me know in the chat. You can let me some feedback how bad I'm at that, or whether you like it or not. I also wonder where are you from, because like the name of the group is Osnabrück C++ user group, but it's online. So I wonder whether you are from Osnabrück and surroundings or other parts of the Germany or Europe. Let me know in the comments. So let me start by shortly introducing myself. So just like Hendrik mentioned, I grew up from the software engineer role. I'm a big enthusiast of Qt framework. After some time, after working as a full-time developer, after being on a freelance, I started my own Qt QML consulting company, Safe Studio. We are now 15 people. For the last year, I was entitled with the title Qt Champion, category ambassador. That's the title that the Qt company, nowadays Qt Group, gives to people who somehow deserve. I mean, this category is for advertising Qt framework. I do that for free. They are not paying me for doing that. I do that because I really like this framework, but still I can speak freely about its bright and dark sides. So yeah, you can expect hopefully an entertaining talk from me. What we are going to talk about. The first element of this presentation would be an introduction to QML in a sense that I want to explain you like the history behind QML, why is it a deal. I'm going to share some insights from doing quite a many projects in this technology. I'm going to share where is it used. I'm going to share some case studies. Then I'm going to show you some key concepts present in QML. I want you to understand that in the hour we will not learn how to code in QML or anything, but still I wanted to show you how things are done in QML. We will jump into my IDE for like a short, really short, brief introduction. Again, it's more about sharing insights rather than teaching you how to code. But I will share some materials that you could take next to just dig deeper into the topic. And as the group, is the group of C++ users. I wanted to show you how you can make QML talking with C++. I estimated the talk to be 45 minutes long, but actually I'm not really sure about that. I will try to keep in this time. Okay, so before we start with the first element, I wanted to share my story on how I discovered QML. So when I was in the high school, I learned C++. I learned, like the basic object-oriented programming, and then I asked myself, okay, Lukas, what you can do now? Let's do something real. Let's do something visual. And I was googling how to code a GUI application on Windows, and that's how I discovered Qt framework. Back at that time, I coded 1, 2, 3, I don't remember, apps using Qt, but with C++ only. I will talk about that later. And when I was on at my university, I was watching some YouTube vloggers who were programmers, and they were talking about making own products, about having a blog. So I started my blog in my native language, and they inspired me to develop own product. My family, my brother, my father, they are truck drivers, and others are working in the construction. I'm other, but I thought that I would develop an application for truckers to let them manage their orders and costs and fuel usage and stuff like that. So I developed this application. I had some skills like C++ and Qt in general already, and I googled what I can use to actually develop a mobile Qt application. And that's how I discovered QML, because as you know, Qt is cross-platform. It's suitable for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and embedded programming, even nowadays web programming, let's say. And that's how I discovered QML. I was stupid at that time, and I assumed some crazy numbers that I will make out of this application, that I will have advertisements and I will do some crazy income from those advertisements. But the problem was that Lukas did not know that to earn from advertisements, you have to have users of your applications. And that was something that I did not think about as a stupid student, but I already had a legal business set up with almost no savings. So what I had to do, I had to go to my first job to pay insurance and taxes and accountant and whatever. So that's how I started my first job, and that's how I discovered QML. This application is still installed on my phone, and from time to time I'm showing it to my clients just to demonstrate how cool QML UI you can code. So what I want you to get from this meeting, first of all, I want to inspire you to try QML out, to extend your skill set, possibly to start evaluation of QML for your project, maybe for the current one, to add some companion screen, or maybe to start a new project, either like pet project or in your company. I also want you to know QML's strengths and weaknesses, and I want you to don't have to pretend in conversations with colleagues that you know what's going on with QML. I want you to understand what QML is and to understand what others are talking about. So again, we'll not learn how to actually code with QML, but I think that it would be a nice thing to start with. So first element, what QML actually is. Actually, this term is a bit ambiguous. I think that first you deserve to get a short introduction to Qt's history, but like really generally speaking. So, sorry for that, but I had a lot of meetings today and I have a bit sore throat. Here is the really simplified history of Qt framework. Back in 90s, Qt was released for desktop Linux and Windows programming. Then in 2000, the first release for Qt for embedded took place. Then, see it, after 15 years, there was a first version of QML and Qt Quick. And then back in 2013, there was first experimental support for mobile platforms added. So the question is how the UI programming in Qt framework was done before this point. Well, the answer is Qt widgets module. The Qt widgets module is part of Qt that is present in the framework from the very beginnings. It's nice. I like it a lot. However, there are some problems with Qt widgets module. They are nice for desktop purposes. As you can see, you can develop some nice looking native apps using Qt widgets. You can, of course, also style them, but there are some problems with them. Qt widgets code may look like this. I mean, you use them in C++, and additionally, you can lay out your user interface using a tool called Designer, which converts whatever you do into XML file, which is then interpreted and converted to be C++ code. It's all done under the hood. You don't see that. But basically speaking, if you are using Qt widgets, you are coding in C++. It's also GUI programming, but it's not a separate language like in the context of QML. You can freely mix up your C++ code responsible for other things with like the UI code, which I actually consider as a bad practice, but let's not focus on Qt widgets. I will only tell you what were the problems with the Qt widgets. And again, still I like them a lot and they are nice in particular aspects. However, there are problems if you are not experienced enough, and even if you are, it's cumbersome to customize them. They consist of a lot of existing components, items called widgets, nota bene. But if your designer provided you with something that looks different than what you can achieve using existing Qt widgets API, then you have problem. Then you probably have to subclass existing Qt widget or write your own, and it takes time. And if you are not experienced with that, it's also not so easy and not so natural. So it was the problem with Qt widgets. Also with styling and animating. Animating is like, I don't want to say that it's impossible. It's like, it's also cumbersome to do, and it's not fluid. It's difficult to achieve. You need to do some custom things. There were some improvements, but anyway, and they are difficult to style. Qt widgets are styled using either other class called QStyle or by a system called QSS. It's similar to CSS that you may know from web programming, but just adjusted to the needs of Qt widgets. If something is not present there, then you may have problem and need to spend more time on this. The other problem with Qt widgets is that they may feel old. To my mind, they are still great to use nowadays, but for many they feel old, especially when they try them out for the first time and they see those desktop like controls. And also they are not really adjusted to the needs of modern UIs that are often designed for the touch screens. And the next problem with the Qt widgets is that they may be problematic for people with no C++ or Python background. I didn't mention, but Qt framework has bindings to Python language, so actually everything could be achieved in Python as well. But if you, as the developer, don't have experience in C++, then you have problem to develop GUI in Qt framework. Also, for Python developers, those bindings are not really natural because they don't follow some important for Qt for Python developers guidelines. So the answer to mitigate those problems, to meet the needs of current modern UI programming was Qt Quick. Qt Quick is a module that actually makes it possible to develop that modern user interfaces in Qt framework. It has like a totally different approach, different API, everything. And QML is is like a tool language in which you code Qt Quick apps. I don't want to go into the details comparing Qt Quick and Qt widgets because we don't have time for that. I wrote a blog post about that, and I will share this presentation with you in the comments or in some other way after all, and you can check my my blog post and see which way of programming GUI in Qt is for you to choose. So again, Qt Quick is not the same as QML. However, some people, including me, may use both terms meaning the same. So sometimes I say QML meaning Qt Quick, but yeah, I don't care. You should not do. That's basically how it works. I'm just telling you that for you to understand, and maybe to shortly show you how QML code looks. It looks like this. I picked some random application from our company GitHub profile, and that's how QML syntax works. We have imports. We have our items structured like in a tree. They are nested. It's declarative language, so we rather explain how we want what we want to get rather than coding how we want to achieve this effect. There are some key concepts present in QML and in Qt framework in general that I will talk about later. And I mean, the entire syntax, it looks a bit like a mix of JSON and JavaScript because JavaScript is used for scripting. So you can write your own functions and they are in JavaScript or some variation of JavaScript. And the good information is that in your projects you can mix C++ and QML code and use C++ to have some nice to have some effective logic or or just you reuse your existing code. Going back to the presentation. Generally speaking, you could implement the majority of your code in QML only, because many of other types that exist in the Qt framework that allow, for example, to do HTTP requests or some other databasing or stuff like that are present in QML. They are basically C++ classes registered as QML types. However, I consider it a bit like a bad practice. I prefer to keep most of my business logic, connecting with hardware, web services, databasing, and stuff like that in C++ or Python, and to keep QML only for UI and for like application flow, let's say. But I know people that are using QML only. So going further, some more details about QtQuick. The module was designed in a way that creators of the module thought about embedded and mobile platforms and just meeting the standards of modern UI. So that's why it's done different, and it's great for embedded and mobile platforms. Just imagine you saw those controls like the QtWidgets one that I showed earlier. Do you imagine having something like this on your phone? I don't think so, right? So that's why they came up with QtQuick. There is also a thing about the embedded world. Some other guys in my company are more experienced saying about embedded, but there is a Qt for MCU, a package. It's basically part of the Qt framework that allows you to run Qt on microcontrollers and, generally speaking, poor chips and devices with limited hardware. And you can also run QtQuick apps on MCUs, but they have to be. It's a lightweight version of QtQuick, so that means that you don't have all graphical effects. That some things are impossible, but generally for small devices with poor hardware, it's a way to go. QtQuick have a lot of styles, including iOS and material styles, so you can make your app looking like a native iOS or an Android application. Here is actually the application that we developed at Sci Studio using QML. And I also have some skills in developing Flutter applications. And if I have to compare, QML coding is more satisfying, I would say. And I like it a lot, and you can achieve like really nice results using it. So that's what you can do in QML. So you can style them well. And the other thing is that QtQuick uses native rendering backend depending on the particular platform on which you are developing your application. So that means that on Mac OS, the under the hood metal may be used, but you won't see the difference. But Qt will do its magic, and it will be possibly more performant and possibly hardware accelerated. So here are some examples of the apps that we have developed. What I wanted to show you is that Qt is commonly, and QML is commonly used in sectors like medical, industrial automation, electronics, automotive, in sectors where there is a need to have a screen running on some device. And just like here, it's a 3D render, but it's the real application. We develop an application for spinal surgery system, which assisted doctors in controlling the robot, which was putting some screws and trajectories into spine, into vertebrae. I know that it sounds disgusting, but that was the application. Here we can see that the app was in QML, but what you see in the middle, it's it's OpenGL. So that was something really cool, because you can still have QML for the most of the application, but you can register. Okay, I will talk about that later. You can make parts of the UI even under QML items in OpenGL or some other graphics API. Here we have the mobile app developed, cross-platform mobile app also developed using QML. Here we have like free screens for some startup electronic vehicle that was running those little screens, and my colleague testing it. So what I want to show you that Qt is used where there is a fancy UI to be done. It has to be performant, and it has to look modern. It has to meet current standards. If you Google Qt Quick QML, you may see Qt Design Studio. I'm not a big fan of that. Qt Design Studio is a tool that is present in the Qt company offering. What it allows you to design user interfaces and animations and visual effects and many other stuff in this tool, and then it's converted to QML code. It also allows you to export a Figma project directly into a Qt Design Studio project and then to QML, which is nice, which may save the world, but from my experience, this tool is neither for developers nor for designers. So you have to have a guy who learns how to use it, and you need to put some investments in organizing like a working model between designers and developers. For some guys, it works, but it takes some time. It takes some investment to like make it beneficial. It's also difficult to get some like advanced materials on Qt Design Studio. I'm just mentioning that because if you Google QML Qt Quick, you may easily spot this, and it's advertised as an excellent tool. I'm just telling you my feelings. And saying about the competitors that Qt Quick have nowadays, it's not like Qt is super popular. It's not. I wish it was more popular, but it's not. It's because of several reasons, but maybe we don't have time for that. I will just tell you what other technologies I have seen used for the similar cases as Qt. So, surprisingly for me, quite many HMI screens, human-machine interfaces, like projects in which there was a screen, touchable one, and something put on some machine. Surprisingly often, such projects were running React, Angular, or some other web platform. Why is that? It's probably because many people have such skills. I have been talking with guys with from companies who develop things like that, and they were like, okay, we have to outsource or we have to learn, we don't have time for that, we know React, let's go with React. Some of them found after the time this decision, but what to do? Quite many HMI projects are also developed using WPF and other tools from .NET family. It's also not surprising because many people work on Windows systems. There is also Flutter. Flutter is a cross-platform mobile framework. It started with Android and iOS, but now it's better and better on desktops, and also it started reaching embedded sector as well. So it is interesting to see it growing. And there is Slate, which is quite interesting tool, which is also quite new. It is a framework for Rust programming language. Uh, I I don't want to do any like comparisons, but it's something that you could also have an eye on. And there is LVGL that we used in some projects in which Qt was not efficient or or sometimes too expensive because it has some licensing as well. And LVGL is based on C++. So yeah, that was the first element. I hope that you like it. It was about what QML is, what it's not, and for what you can use it. I think that it's time now to for the second element. The second element of this presentation would be me telling you some key concepts of the QML. So I think that Linus Torvalds said, Turkish chip, show me the code. So we'll jump into my IDE. Again, this is the simple project. I wanted to show you some talk about some basics here. So that's how QML is structured. We have some root item, in which case it's the window. If I run the project, I'm gonna see a simple, like pretty simple to-do application, and all the children items, they are organized a bit in a way that in which C++ objects are organized in the memory. Speaking about Qt's C++ part, so it's the parent, and this is one child, this is the second child. Every item has properties. Properties allow to set some parameters like geometry, like some styling. You can define own ones if you want, and all the items, all the visual items, based on a type called item. If we go to the reference, maybe not to this one, maybe let's go to the reference of text item. And I hope you see it clearly, but here it says that text QML type bases on item type. Why is that? Because if we think about that, all the visual components have things in common. What they have in common? They can be visible or not. They can be 50 pixels wide and 20 pixels high. They may be positioned in a particular place. They may have some opacity. They may have some position. They may be rotated. They may be scaled. Those are the things that are common for all visual items, and that's why visual items in Qt Quick base on item type. And think about those common things. Among them, you find geometry like width, height, x, y positions, and maybe let's shortly talk about positioning. So here we have our window. Here we have our item called task section, and it's just item is like container, so it's transparent. It's not really visible, but you can put here a rectangle, can make it fill the parent, so task section. We can make it a red color, so then we will see how a positioning in QML works. So yeah, like the gray part here is the entire window, and red one is the task section. you can see that here there is a concept of anchors used. Anchors are used to position the items relatively to other to position items relatively to other items. So here I made a task section fill parent, so a window with margins of 20, but I also specified top margin to be 80 and like the bottom margin to be 0. I could also make it in a way that instead of setting margins 20 here, I would set left margin 20 and right margin also 20. So that's how it works, but it has some limitation, which of course makes sense. And you can anchor only to parent or to the siblings. So we have this list view here. It's this part. It anchors to the bottom of task section title, so this text here, but it could not anchor to the window because window is neither a parent or a sibling of this list view. Yeah, so that's why. Saying about the other concepts, you can create your own QML files, and in which you will define other visual items, and you can have own properties there. And here I have this input section defined as like a separate item. You can do that because of several reasons. One of them is to just not put everything in one file and make it looking like spaghetti. You can also reuse your files and things like that. Here you can see that I have some other items. I have this input field. I have this plus button, and there is a concept of signals and slots present in Qt's C++ side. It's also present in QML. So that means that I can define my own signal. I called it add_click, and from my mouse area, which is put above this button, I can call this signal with the parameter that I took from this text edit, and then in the place in which the input section item is used, I can handle this signal in such a way that I write a JavaScript function slot. So that's how the concept of signals and slots that you may also know from boost signals now. Saying about the properties, here the important concept is bindings. Why I'm saying that bindings is important concept, and what are bindings? Bindings is a way to make one property depending on something else. So in this case, task is like a single task item from this to-do list. If it's I made it depending on the width of tasks section, so it's the like this red area here. If I make a red section smaller, I don't need to set width of task items again. So it is a binding system. And how does it work in the practice? It's again based on signals. So we don't have to code it because it's coded under the hood. But when items width change, it sends signal with change, and thanks to that, bindings work. Because if we have if this property here emits the signal, then we have to know that something has to update, and only then it will be updated. Yeah, so that is that in. I know that those may be a bit basic things, but still I was not sure how to design this talk, because from on one hand it should be technical, but I was not sure what was your level of familiarity with QML. Again, it's more about sharing the concepts. And saying about the concepts, we have concept of making QML and C++ talking, QML and C++ integration. I think that it could be something very interesting to you as C++ users. You have to know that there are two ways of making C++ talking with QML, or actually QML talking with C++, but there's also a way to do that in vice versa. So the first thing is called exposing C++ objects to QML. Pay attention to the words. And the other way is registering C++ classes as QML types. What's the difference? So exposing C++ objects to QML works in a way that we have an object instantiated in C++. We have an instance of C++ object instantiated, I don't know, it can be main CPP or some other place. And then we can access its properties, its functions, its methods in QML. But like the instance is, it was instantiated in C++. To make your object to have properties, you have to define them using QProperty macro in your class definition. You will see that in a moment. So then in your C++ code, you call a method called QML register singleton instance. That's my preferred way of doing that. With some parameters, you will see example in a second. So to achieve this effect, to access your C++ object in QML, you have to subclass QObject. It has to have this QObject macro. It has to have properties which then access getters, setters, and stuff like that. I don't want to go into the details now. I will share some things on how to do that later. And that's how you call QML register singleton instance. Here I have my variable of my custom class, company, and here I call QML register singleton instance. The first parameter is the name of the module you have to import to access your object in QML. Two next parameters are versioning, which on QML side is now optional. My company is a name under which you will access your object. So in C++, it can be called totally different, but QML will see your object with the name you provided here. And the last parameter is the pointer to your object. Important comment here is that because QObjects can have children and they have parents, because of that, you cannot copy QObjects, so you have to pass like the original one. Yeah, and after you call that, in QML, you call import with the name of the module that you provided. And then you can access your C++ object thanks to this name, and you can access the properties of this object just like we defined earlier. It is as simple as that, and it's so powerful because you can have really nice UI, and you can add UI to your existing working application and only do some tweaks to access those C++ objects, and it's the way to go if you already have some application and you do not want to refactor everything, because the second way it's for more advanced Qt users who know what they are doing. In a sense, they know like architecture concepts of Qt framework and programming using Qt framework, C++, Qt Quick. Yeah, so again, pay attention to the words. Here we are not exposing C++ object. Here we are registering classes. So registering C++ classes as QML types is about making it possible to do things like that, to instantiate your C++ class just like any other QML type. It makes sense when you want your item to be reusable. It makes sense in the cases in which I know guys who, and it also makes sense in some cases that there is small main function with just application starting main QML file, and everything is instantiated in main QML file. There is not much logic coded in C++. Of course, there are classes, but they are, let's say, not aware of each other. I'm not saying whether it's a good approach or not. I have seen it working, and I have seen it working nicely. So, how to do that? Here, the thing is that it's also quite simple. Actually, all you have to do is to take your class, add to its definition QML element macro, and then CMake and things under the hood does the job for you. When you code projects using C++ with the newest version of Qt framework, Qt 6, the preferred build system is CMake. And Qt has some own CMake commands, and among them there is Qt add QML module. Here is the place in which you specify that your project consists of your QML files, but you also can add to your QML module C++ classes, just like in case, just like here. Then you do not have to specify paths to your C++ classes again in add executable CMake command. Only you have to add them here. And Qt does its magic under the hood, and really, believe me or not, that's all. And that's all to make it to make it working like here. But there are also other macros. There are other macros that allow you to do more and more fancy things. You can make your item uncreatable. For example, in a case you want your type to be recognized, to be shared like in parameters of some methods, but you cannot really instantiate a new one. But you still want to benefit of QML, understanding the types and all of its properties and everything. And I think I lost. I'm not sure how long I'm talking now. Oh, there's a counter in the left top corner. So we are almost done. The other important thing about registering C++ classes is that you can draw whatever you want in C++, including doing that using OpenGL, and then register that that customly painted object as QML type and use it in QML just like that. This is the example coming from examples available in Qt's domain. So it's super powerful if you have the apps like the spinal surgery robotic system that I showed you before. You can mix the power of OpenGL to do custom stuff with QML. So that's like a popular case. Again, it's quite advanced, so I'm not going much into the details. If you want to learn more, I wanted to encourage you to check out my YouTube tutorial on Qt and QML. I tried to design it in a way that it's suitable for guys with C++ background. So it's not only about QML and nothing else. It has also solid fundamentals about those other key concepts that are present on C++ side of Qt, which I consider more than important. So if you are interested, if you want to know some basics about Qt, you can check it out. It's available for free. Again, this presentation will be shared with you. And if you want to talk with me, here is my email address, the address of my company's website. We are doing trainings. We are doing QML consulting. Here is my LinkedIn profile. If you want to reach out to me, if you want to talk, do not hesitate. And I think that it's time for questions.
Hi, so I'm back again. Thanks for the great talk, Lukas. I really liked it. So nice talk. I have monitored the chat during your talk, and at the moment we have no questions in the chat which need answering here right now. So what I will do now is I will post the link to our Jitsi server here again in the chat. And so everybody is now invited to go over there for a little bit of Q&A if you're interested. So the link is now posted in the YouTube chat, and we can go all over there to meet there. Feel free to come. We have a little bit of time to go through your questions, talk about Qt, talk about Lukas, talk about basically everything you want. And again, thank you for the nice presentation, and we will see each other over there in Jitsi. Thank you.
Yeah, Hendrik, if I may have one request. I cannot share a link to my presentation on YouTube. For some reason, I cannot share links there. If you could share the link there, it would be great.
Yeah, so I will paste the link here right now. So the link to the presentation is now also in the YouTube chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so let's see each other over there in Jitsi, and yeah, see you there.
See you
Bye,
there.
everyone.
Bye.